Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. And in today's video, I want to slow things down a little bit. I want to talk about all of the things in Raid Shadow Legends that it is just so easy that if you're not careful, you can kind of make a little bit of a mistake. But also, the game, for newer players especially, can feel a little bit overwhelming. Oftentimes, I've had some people tell me that they don't know where to go, they don't know what to do, they don't know what they should focus on. There's a lot of content in Raid Shadow Legends. So in today's video, I kind of want to break it all down a little bit. I want to kind of slow things down, kind of rewind a little bit to my kind of first month or two, and kind of talk about some of the things that you should be focusing on, especially within the first kind of 30, 60 days. But before we get to that video, or the rest of the video, I do want to remind people, of course, that if you haven't started yet, then you should download using the QR code in the top right or in the link in the description down below to get yourself a free legendary Elena roll and also the 2 free epics, Rector Drath and Ugo at account level 15 and 30. That's not all. Of course, you can get yourself a free Supreme Gallic by using the promo code Supreme6 within the first 24 hours of a new account. And if you find the information in this video helpful, please do me a favor and ring that notification bell and hit that subscribe button. You'd be greatly helping me out. So let's just get started in talking about, the game more broadly. Like, also, I'm running some faction wars with background auto while we're doing this video, but there's just so much things to focus on. And the most common question that I get when about what I should do or what they should do in Raid Shadow Legends, because there's so much content to focus on, and it still is going to be the Arbiter missions. Now, I've cleared this. There's a video, I'll leave a link in the description actually, where I managed to get this done in about 70 days or so. So it's entirely possible for you to do that as long as you're focusing on this. So I can't kind of go back and show you like all the different stages of it. But this is a very helpful place to start, especially because it kind of acts as a little bit of a tutorial to kind of guide you through the different aspects of the game, especially if you're more newer to these kinds of games or games like Raid, or well, Raid was kind of the first one-ish. But games in this style, this kind of guides you along the way, and you kind of eventually, by the time you get Arbiter, you should be pretty well into the game and know what you're doing. That being said, there is a handful of things that I think is a bit more important as far as roster goes, because there's a lot of characters in Raid Shadow Legends, right? There's a lot of characters that don't always specialize in everything. And I think the best first thing to do is honestly focusing on a team that will kind of be a good generalist team. And what I mean by that is, teams that you can use in Demon Lord, for example, teams that you can use in maybe even Chimera, because actually a lot of the same characters that I was using in my Demon Lord team, I was also able to use in Chimera. And, it's not until later on that you need to specialize a little bit more. These are the same kind of characters that you're going to be using in the dungeons, right? In most of them, to be honest, that you could find a generalist, you could create a generalist team that's going to help you through all the different types of dungeons, whether it's the potion keeps or whether it's the gear farming dungeons. So Dragon's Lair, Spider's Den, Fire Knight's Castle, Ice Golem Peaks, these 4, and obviously clearing Minotaur's Labyrinth isn't super difficult. It's actually one of the easier ones to get through. I don't tend to talk about Sand Devil's Necropolis and Phantom Shogun's Grove. These 2 are for ascending your gear, but honestly, it's not super early friendly. So if you're within the first month or two, I probably wouldn't focus on doing this, to be honest. Even for me, I haven't made a significant amount of progress. I'm kind of on stage 12 there, and I'm a little bit further on this one, stage 16 over here. But when it comes to the gear dungeons, I think a good kind of milestone, there's a few good milestones, obviously, but stage 10 is a pretty good one, but also stage 13, because that's where you're going to break into 6-star gear that you can farm. So stage 10 tends to be a bit more efficient because of the energy cost of 12. But if you want to start farming some 6-star gear, then obviously stage 13 is where you're going to break into that. So those are kind of some good milestones on both of all of the dungeons, really, at this point: Ice Golems, Dragon's Lair, Spider's Den, and Fire Knight's Castle. Now, as far as these generalist teams go, and I want to kind of let you guys know where I started. Now, this is going to be different if you're starting today, right? You're going to have access to different champions than, say, I did 3 months ago, or yes, I guess it's been about almost 100 days. I'll be doing my 100-day roster review pretty soon. But when I got started, the Alice chase was the big thing. So this was the freebie character that you got for playing for 7 days login. You also got up to a 5 red star Alice for playing for 14 days. So, or was it 21? Sorry, 21 days, I think it was in total to get the 5 red. And this was, and it still is, honestly, one of my best characters on my roster. So not everyone is going to have access to her now. There's going to be different characters available to you now, namely Aedex Artor, who, if you've been starting in the last week or so, then you would be working your way towards him, getting him for free. And I'm sure there's going to be some new free legendary characters on the way as well. And that character could very well be part of that. So when I got started, obviously Kale. So Kale is the starter champion that everyone should pick. And if you haven't started playing yet, make sure that when you do get your account, that you do pick up Kale, just because I think he's the best generalist. He's the best character that you're going to use early on. That's going to help you with dungeon campaign clearing for sure, wave clearing and campaigns, dungeons, but also Demon Lord Clan Boss. He has a very good kit that allows you to kind of progress in there, namely the poisons. So very good starter champion there. And then if you're using my promo code, then obviously you'll probably have access to Boom, Rector Drath, and Rector Drath has been an amazing support healer that I still use every single day. So Rector Drath, a great healer that's going to help you through a lot of the various dungeons. So you're going to want to build your generalist team kind of with this in mind. So kind of like 2 damage characters and 1 speed lead, and the rest are support. And when I'm talking about speed lead, characters like Apothecary, if you manage to get him early on in your rare pulls, could be mystery shards, frankly, mystery shards, ancient shards, anything like that, because you're going to want to have a character that has increased speed buffs. Now, Apothecary is kind of one of the best rares that can do that, but there are other characters that can as well. Actually, there is Eris. Do I still have Eris in here or not? You can actually farm Eris from chapter 6 of the campaign. So there is Eris, this high elf rare that's not as good as Apothecary, but I kind of want to let people know that you can get this character very easily in the early game, and that's going to give you a 30% speed buff to all allies for 2 turns. Also cleanses 1 debuff from the entire team as well. Also has some speed aura in dungeons, unfortunately not all battles, but at least in dungeons as well. So this is kind of like a budget Apothecary if you haven't able to pull that kind of character yet. So you're going to want to have one of these speed-based characters. You're going to want to have 2 DPS characters, or damage characters as I call them, Kale or Alice. So you could have another character that fills that role of Alice. Obviously, if you don't have her, there's nothing you can really do about that. Supreme Gallic, for example, right, you know, who I mentioned, would fill that role as well. So having like Kale and Supreme Gallic. I don't have Supreme Gallic, but if you're starting a new account, is a very good PvE character that you'll be able to use for this. And then you're going to want those other 2 slots to be your support roles. And that's going to be depending on what you have, of course. But, you know, if you use the promo code, you would have Rector Drath and then also Ugo, which, again, 2 characters that I use every single day. And the reason why Ugo is so great is because you're going to get a decreased defense, debuffs. Block buffs is great, but like when you're doing early climbing in your dungeons and your bosses and things like that, you really need to have a range of debuffs and buffs, you know, depending on which dungeon that you're going through. Decreased defense is going to make a significant difference on your character's damage when you're fighting bosses. So this is something that everyone can take advantage of. So that's kind of how you want to build your generalist team. And I use this team, honestly, seriously. I used Alice, Ugo, Rector Drath, Kale, and Apothecary. So those 5 characters got me through, I would say, a good chunk of the game, or at least the early and mid game. I don't know where people define the mid game exactly, but I was able to use that team, and I was able to climb Doom Tower normal all the way to the top. Not even joking. I was able to get all the way to the top. Now, it depends on the rotation. Some bosses are harder than others, but I can largely do that to clear the waves on Doom Tower normal, and that's not a problem, right? Some of the bosses require some micromanagement depending on which rotation it is, that kind of thing. But I'm just kind of sharing with you that these kind of generalist teams can get you pretty far. And for Clan Boss, you know, I was using that as my clan boss all the way up until Brutal. So it wasn't until Nightmare when I had to kind of rejig my team a little bit. So obviously I have some better support, a little bit better support than Ugo now. I have Esther Dreamsong, and Geomancer has been really helpful. So things will change as you get more characters, but you can get very far with a kind of a good generalist team. And again, this is going to depend on what champions you've pulled, what characters you have available to you. But I think that's the best place to start. So when you're also looking at some of your first level 60s that you should build, it's going to be those characters. And it's typically going to be your damage characters first. So if you're thinking about which character should I 6-star, which character should I hit level 60 first, it is going to be your damage characters. It's going to be either your Alice if you're still playing and you have Alice, or Supreme Gallic by using the promo code that I mentioned. Those are the kind of the characters that you want to get level 60 first. Alternatively, Kale is still a fine pick. I used him quite a bit. I think I got a little bit lucky and I got more room, some more runway space with, I don't know what word I was looking for, with Kale, because I managed to get a 6 red, which means his longevity for me and my roster lasted a little bit longer than maybe some people. And then after that, obviously focusing on your supports like Ugo and Rector Drath. So really it just depends on the characters you have available to you. But focusing on this one team, like 5 characters that you're going to use almost everywhere, that's going to be really good, and that's going to be your most bang for your buck. And I kind of want to just tell people this now, because I want to warn people that if you stretch your roster too thin early, you're going to have like a bunch of level 40s and 50s, but like not at 60. And it surprisingly makes a fairly big difference, right? Because you do get the banner at level 60, and some people might not think that's a big deal, but in some cases, depending on the character, like you can get a significant amount of stats out of the banners. Also, the banners are the only ones that have accuracy as well, which is a pretty big deal for characters who rely on debuffs and things like that. So the banner piece is surprisingly important, which you can only get once you add 6-star and level 60. So making sure that you're not, getting a bunch of characters to 40 and 50, you focus on your top first 5 to level 60 is really important. And I think we just need to kind of go back a little bit and talk about that in case there's some people that are watching the channel and, may have made this mistake or are making that mistake now. I just want to share that with you guys now. And also, as far as the Great Hall goes, I do want to actually put another PSA in here while you're here, because it is really important that you go tall. When it comes to the Arbiter missions, you can get pretty stuck on that, and I have made mention in that video about it, but I'm just going to do it again here towards the end, that you want to focus on one of your affinity bonuses to max on accuracy. You do need to get 2 of them to level 4, but after that, you basically need to get 1 to level 10. I focused on blue magic because that was the best for me and my roster and the amount of characters that I have. After that, I've been focusing on red force, because of Geomancer and a few other characters that I can get up to level 10. And then I'm going to go over to Spirit, and then I'm going to go over to Void, and then we'll see how long it takes me to get that. I just wanted to share with you guys about Great Hall and accuracy, because that's very important. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. But of course, another reminder that if you haven't started playing Raid Shadow Legends yet, now is the best time, because you're going to get a legendary Eleanor and 2 free epics, Rector Drath and Ugo, for using the QR code or the link in the description down below. And of course, you can get yourself a free Supreme Gallic by using the promo code Supreme6 within the first 24 hours of a brand new account. So lots of things there. And also, you can still get yourself some fragments for Edic's Artor, which is ongoing right now, the rewards calendar. So lots of things always going on in Raid Shadow Legends. That's going to be it for now, everyone, but I'll see you guys on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.